Hi everyone, I am Mary Beth Zavodnik and my critical literature review is on the development of co-teaching research, co-teaching and education in the past, present, and future. First, I want to introduce the problem. Co-teaching has been a long-studied instructional method in education. The research on co-teaching has developed and changed over the years. Depending on the lens of the study, co-teaching has been defined in many ways. In 1973, Miller and Trump defined co-teaching as an arrangement in which two or more teachers plan, instruct, and evaluate in one or more subject areas. In 1995, Cook and Friend described co-teaching as two or more professionals delivering substantive instruction to a diverse or blended group of students in a single physical space. In 2005, Bacharach and colleagues discussed co-teaching as a means of student teaching defined as two teachers, a cooperating teacher and a teacher candidate, working together with groups of students, sharing the planning, organization, delivery, and assessment of instruction, as well as the physical space. So the guiding research questions of this literature review are: how has co-teaching research developed over time? How has co-teaching been studied in K-12 schools? And how has co-teaching been used with pre-service teachers at the university level? For the purposes of this review, I'm looking for studies that study the effects of co-teaching in K-12 schools, student teaching, and higher education. The overall purpose is to examine the literature to learn about how co-teaching has been used to meet the needs of diverse learners in various arenas. A secondary purpose is to discover possible unexplored aspects of co-teaching. So as mentioned, co-teaching initially was studied as an instructional method for K-12 schooling. Recently, co-teaching has been used as a model for student teaching and also at the university level for pre-service teachers. Initially, the research on co-teaching was primarily theoretical. Researchers Bowens and Horkate, along with Cook and Friend, describe their view on collaboration in schools, which they note as cooperative teaching and co-teaching. In both research articles, researchers frame collaboration as an essential piece to co-teaching. Cook and Friend discussed the various approaches to co-teaching methods, such as station teaching, parallel teaching, team teaching, and others. The authors posit that preparation, administrative support, and ongoing communication amongst all members involved is crucial for a positive co-teaching relationship. In response to the theoretical arguments presented in 1991 and 1995, Zygmunt and Magiera noted the effectiveness of co-teaching is very inadequate, stating there are many resources available for researchers with how to co-teach, but no convincing data telling practitioners that it is worth doing. So researchers Bacharach, Heck, and Dahlberg, along with Ferguson and Wilson, led the shift to study co-teaching at the university level. The researchers studied how the co-teaching process affected the students in the course, along with the professors' experiences as a co-teaching pair. In both cases, researchers found that the majority of students really thought teacher prep courses should be co-taught and indicated that they learned more in a co-taught course. The researchers also discovered that professors were initially worried about the struggle of power and responsibilities, but found as their co-teaching relationship developed, they were able to grow professionally and provide exceptional instruction to their students. So continuing my summary, I will discuss how co-teaching has been developed in the student teaching arena. So in 2010, Bacharach, Heck, and Dahlberg saw an opportunity to focus on co-teaching as a means of student teaching. Prior to this study, there was little research connecting success in a student teaching experience with student achievement. The researchers found the majority of subgroups that were analyzed had higher academic achievement when co-taught by a student teacher and a mentor pair. In 2015, Friend, Emery, and Clark suggested we should call co-teaching, student teaching, its own name, which they coined as apprentice teaching. The authors describe co-teaching as a service delivery option by two certified teachers and suggests that apprentice teaching is a newly conceptualized model for student teaching and related experiences for pre-service teachers only. In 2017, Geese, Habib, Thiessen, and Robbins further refined the ideas regarding the implementation of co-teaching as a model for pre-service teachers and their mentors during the student teaching experience. The authors suggest that co-teaching implementation falls on a continuum, and each pair is somewhere amongst this continuum. So this kind of takes us to the current research, which is 2018. Soslow, Gala-Fox, and Scantlebury discussed co-teaching from a socio-cultural perspective. The researchers' purpose was to examine whether the co-teaching model in student teaching was functioning as theorized, thus affording opportunities for candidates to develop their adaptive teaching expertise, growth competence, and collaborative skills. So, as you can see through the timeline discussion, I visualize co-teaching as a co-teaching research pipeline. The pipeline starts with research primarily in K-12 schools, moving to higher education, and now finding its way into the student teaching arena. Co-teaching was initially thought of as an instructional method for diverse learners in K-12 education. Numerous studies discuss different co-teaching methods, define co-teaching differently, and give suggestions in order to implement co-teaching effectively, found in Bowens and Horcade in 1991 and Cook and Friend in 1995. This area has been heavily researched and highly regarded in the field of co-teaching. The focus of co-teaching research has moved beyond the K-12 classroom into the university level as a method for professors to deliver content to undergraduate students. Co-teaching was briefly studied at the university level and then quickly moved as a method for student teaching. This is what I see as a break in the pipeline that needs to be mended. There has been far too little research preparing pre-service teachers to enter their student teaching as co-teachers themselves. This is where we need to revert back and conduct more research. So I will now discuss the methodological critiques. So the studies I looked at primarily used non-random sampling, using convenience or purposive sampling. So non-random sampling is very common in this specific type of research due to the specific population that researchers target is not a very widely available population. So the research articles I looked at have very strong qualitative research and a handful of mixed method research designs. So I did not see many many research articles that utilized only quantitative research. So in the studies that used qualitative research, data was collected through student journals, student surveys with open-ended response, observation of classrooms, and interviews. So the sample sizes for those studies range from 16 to 36 participants. I did notice that one study did not tell us the number of subjects, which I thought was a big weakness. So in the studies that used mixed method research, the researchers captured both the qualitative and quantitative data. So researchers used open-ended survey data, interviews, and focus groups with samples ranging from 200 to 452 participants. The researchers also incorporated the quantitative side of student achievement scores and evaluations on the Likert scale. They used these to capture the attitudes of participants with samples ranging from 372 up to 2,536 participants. The populations studied were limited to one geographical area, one school district, one university, one classroom, etc. And therefore, that is difficult to generalize in all cases, other than to populations that are similar in demographics. So I will now wrap things up with my conclusions. First, co-teaching has been widely understood as a method of instruction in K-12 schools with 2 certified teachers. This method, if done correctly, with administrative support, co-planning time, and proper training, can lead to academic achievement in K-12 schools. There has been some but limited data on this and needs to be further researched in a variety of populations. Additionally, research is needed on how teachers can maximize their time to improve co-teaching's effectiveness. Second, as co-teaching has been studied as a student teaching method, also coined apprentice teaching by friend Emberley and Clark. Pre-service teachers can learn to work in a collaborative environment to develop their adaptive teaching expertise, growth competence, and collaborative skills. Future research is needed on how co-teaching pairs use data to inform instructional decisions and curriculum planning during the co-teaching process. As noted in the research, very rarely did co-teaching pairs discuss students' data as catalysts to shape instructional decisions. Co-teaching could provide teaching pairs with opportunities to analyze students' understanding. A second area for research is to study the new roles within a co-teaching triad. The triad includes the university supervisor, the mentor teacher, and the teaching candidate. This can help candidates' development of adaptive teaching expertise, growth competence, and collaborative skills. Finally, the research on co-teaching at the university level is an area I'm interested in pursuing. I hope to mend the co-teaching pipeline to better prepare our pre-service teachers for their future in K-12 schools. If we expect students to collaborate in their student teaching experiences in K-12 teaching jobs, we need to be preparing students at the university level for these collaborative experiences by modeling co-teaching for the students. Research is needed on how experiencing a co-taught class can better prepare pre-service teachers for their careers. Thank you for listening to my presentation.